What's up, guys? Mike Krupchenko here, bringing you another episode of Boom or Bust. It is my week 3 predictions for fantasy football, and week 2 started off pretty well for me. I believe I got half of the busts correctly and only 3 booms correctly, which isn't terrible for a first week. I hope to see some improvement on my predictions, and I know I will improve as the season goes on and as we get to see how each player is doing and how each team is doing. So this week we are going to start off with our 3 busts, and on the screen right now you can see that I do have a list set out. There's multiple reasons that you guys can also see as well, but we're going to focus in on 3 of those people. Number 1, I'm going to talk about Cam Newton. Cam Newton, you guys may be surprised. Why is he going to have a bad week? Well, Cam Newton's going to have a bad week because he's going up against Minnesota. Minnesota may not seem very scary, but they held Aaron Rodgers, yes, Aaron Rodgers, to only 16 points. 16. Do you realize how low that is for Aaron Rodgers? That is pretty damn low. Also, he fumbled 3 times, only lost 1, unfortunately. He was intercepted once, could have been intercepted multiple times. The Minnesota defense is scary. It's a very, very underrated defense coming into the season. I don't think that anybody really expected any of this to happen, but I'm telling you right now, Minnesota's defense is a scary one, and if you are looking for a defense, I would go with Minnesota. Next up, we are going to talk about Jeremy Langford. Jeremy Langford is one that you can't really predict how he's going to do. He either does fantastic or does very poorly. Last season, it was the same thing. He would put up 15 and then he'd put up 2. So you really never know how Jeremy Langford is going to be. This week, he happened to have his first fumble of his career, unfortunately, and only get 6 points. It was enough for me to win, so that's all that matters. However, I'm sure a lot of fantasy owners were disappointed in that, and I totally get it. Now, if you guys were watching last night, you guys have seen that he is sharing the role now. I don't know if he'll even start against Dallas. There are reports that he won't, so I don't know if I would start him. I personally wouldn't. I think he's going to be a bust this week with maybe only 5 points, especially if he starts sharing the role. You Jeremy Langford owners are in deep trouble. Now, I do know that Kelvin Benjamin is on the same team as Cam Newton. However, I am going to say he is a bust this week for the exact same reason as I did with Cam Newton. The Minnesota defense is scary. Minnesota defense scored all the points in their first game, and yeah, Minnesota won. Think about that. If Minnesota could win a game just solely off defense, I really don't think that playing against them, picking the opposing team's offensive players, is really a good idea, considering if they can stop Aaron Rodgers and Marcus Mariota from doing absolutely anything, I'm fairly confident that they could do the same to Cam Newton, which would of course hinder Kelvin Benjamin's production, and that's why I wouldn't choose him this week. Now we're going to get to our 3 booms. As you guys can see on the screen, I have my 5 and then the notable ones. This was a very, very difficult list to make, in my opinion. Honestly, there's really none that I can really expect to explode. There's of course those couple few that are most likely going to explode, like Julio Jones is playing the New Orleans defense. Although the New Orleans defense did hold Odell Beckham Jr. to around, I think it was 8 points, maybe 7. Julio Jones is different than Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham has 2 other elite receivers with him, so they're spreading the ball around a lot more. It's just a different matchup. So it's a rivalry. This is a big game for the Atlanta Falcons, and I really do believe that Julio Jones will be featured entirely and have over 100 yards. So yeah, I would definitely choose Julio Jones this week if you have him. Now, this one's going to be crazy, and you guys may think that I'm insane, but yeah, I'm putting a defense on here. Why? Well, the defense last week put up 21 points. 21. And they have another favorable matchup. The Cardinals are playing Buffalo. Now, Buffalo is not that good, and Buffalo is having a lot of struggles finding out who they are. They're firing coaches. They're just very, very messed up in the head right now, which could possibly distract them for this week's, and Tyrod Taylor may indeed end up throwing a couple interceptions because he can and does do that, as well as Sammy Watkins is hurt again. So I really just believe that the Cardinals defense has another good week of maybe 15 or more. So I would 100% put in the Cardinals defense if you could. Finally, the 3rd boom I'm going to speak about is Isaiah Crowell. And yeah, this guy exploded last week, but people are wondering if it's for real. I 100% believe that it's for real. He is the featured guy. 2 of their quarterbacks are hurt. If you have your 2 top quarterbacks out, you're going to be running the ball heavily. He's definitely going to get an increased workload now that McCown and Robert Griffin III are injured. It's very obvious. Yeah, it's always what happens when 1 or 2 quarterbacks go out. And really, I don't see Duke Johnson Jr. taking any carries from him, as Crowell has proven himself to be the worthy candidate for the number one job. Crowell is available in 27.5% of leagues, and I would 100% take Crowell if he is available in your league. So that's going to do it for this week's Boom or Bust. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I've been getting a lot of great feedback from everybody for these videos, and I really appreciate it more than you guys think. It really keeps me going and keeps me wanting to do this, so I really appreciate all the feedback that I've been getting in person, personally. It's just honestly amazing. I appreciate it so much, and that's going to do it for this week's episode. If you have any predictions, you can comment them down below. If you have any questions for me, definitely comment them down below, or you can tweet at me. My Twitter is always in the description or on the screen in the beginning of the video. So that's going to be it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like, rating, subscribe as always, and I'll see you guys later. Stay classy.